Welcome to Chapter 2 of Miles Regan. First Day, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Miles Regan First Day, Chapter 2 by MJJTAYLOR. The custody suite stank of bleach, sweat, and stale beer. Hot, damp air. Phones ringing off the hook. Printers spitting charge sheets into curls. Each slam of a big blue door sounded like a gunshot. Two custody sergeants worked the desk. One typing with stiff precision, the other signing forms like he loathed the pen. CDOS in high-vis ghosted back and forth with property bags, sandwiches, mop buckets. Nobody flinched at the racket. Hart nudged Miles forward, gum snapping. Eyes open, son. This ain't telly. This is the guts. Ugly, loud, stinkin'. Noise never stops. You learn to think inside it. Miles's gaze flicked across the wing. A drunk sang tunelessly from holding 3. Someone hammered a shoe in time. Another man yelled threats at an enemy only he could see. Background noise, italic. Sergeant, we've got another drunk pissing himself in 2. Oi, I want my phone call. I've got rights. You pigs are all bent. I know where you live. Sweet Caroline. Oh, slurred female. A constable shouldered to the desk with a slab of a man in a torn Arsenal shirt, lip split, fist swollen. The sergeant didn't look up. Name. The arresting officer rattled it off. Martin Ellis. Goes by Tank. Arrested outside the White Horse at 3:45. Drunk, started on Chelsea fans. Victim required 4 stitches. Ellis tried to take on 6 of them before we dragged him off. Tank puffed his chest, blood cracking at the corner of his grin. Could have had all 6 if you mugs hadn't piled in. Hard aside to Miles. Arsenal won last night. He's been singing since full time. The sergeant typed without looking up. Offense logged. Common assault. Book him cell 2. The blue door hissed open on hydraulics. As they walked Tank past, he clocked Miles' 2 clean uniform and wide eyes. What's this then? Cadets playing dress up? Hart smirked. First day, Tank. Go easy. Don't break 'em before I've had a go. Tank barked a laugh. The door clanged shut. Almost at once his roar rolled down the wing. Arsenal! Arsenal! Another officer stepped up with a wiry man in cuffs. Tracksuit dusty, hair slicked, grin cocky. Name? Darren Miller, the officer said, known as Daz. Arrested at 6 a.m. Cannabis cultivation, 10 plants in the bedroom, 3 ounces bagged. Flat stank like Amsterdam. Daz grinned. Green fingers, mate. You say drugs, I say gardening. Feeding the community. The sergeant didn't blink. Offense logged, possession with intent. Book him opposite cell 2. Background noise, italic. She nicked my wallet, you search her. You're all bent, every last one of you. Need me brief. Where's my brief, yeah? Before the door shut, Daz cupped his hands and yelled down the wing. Oi, Tank! Arsenal was shite yesterday. Chelsea walked you round the park. Tank's answer rattled the metal. You blow more than fucking bubbles, hammer boy. Daz's grin widened. He belted it out at top volume. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Pretty bubbles in the air. The corridor ignited. Doors boomed in rhythm. Laughter howled. A chorus rose and fell like a stadium. Background noise, italic. Boom, boom, boom. Fists on metal. Bubbles, bubbles. West Ham! West Ham! A drunk clapping offbeat, slurring. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Tank thundered from inside. Shut it! I'll fucking kill ya, Daz! Daz carried on, delighted, voice cracking. Then like my dream, they fade and die. Miles stood in the storm of it, pulse hammering. This wasn't a station. This was a terrace made of steel. Hart leaned close, gum snapping. Told ya. Proper Sunday service. The duty sergeant, Radcliffe, the nameplate said, lifted his head at last, blue eyes like glass. Miller, you'll get your phone call when you stop performing and start cooperating. Ellis, keep chanting, and I'll move you where no one can hear you, including you. A CDO hustled up with a property bag. Price, Daz's phone, wallet, 1 key on a lanyard shaped like a cannabis leaf. Grower's pride, Daz said, still grinning. Radcliffe signed without humor. Your pride's logged. Your plants aren't. Sit tight for interview. Hart tugged Miles aside as a new arrival was steered to the desk. Right. Learn the faces. Patel, sweet as sugar until you take the piss. Price, sarcasm with legs. Radcliffe, Block's dad in Executioner. Don't get on his wrong side or you'll be scrubbing vomit out the van for a month. Got it, Miles said, though he hadn't. They moved down the corridor. Through the viewing panel of cell 3, a woman in a ripped blouse sat on the edge of the slab, elbows on knees, knuckles white. A gin bottle had been bagged and tagged on the property shelf outside. Domestic, Hart said. Smashed it over her fella's head. He probably deserved it, but that ain't the point. She'll try to flood the cell at 9:30. Does it every time. A man in cell 5 banged on the door with the heel of his palm. I want a cigarette. I'll sue you. Market thief, Hart said. He'd nick the carpet if it weren't nailed down. Don't open the hatch unless your fingers are insured. Miles scribbled nonsense in his notebook because his hands needed something to do. A cry went up from further down the wing. Sergeant, we've got a runner and holding one. Price jogged past with a resigned expression. They always run. Where do you think you're going, pal? This whole place is doors. Hart smirked. He'll be out of breath by the end of the corridor. Then he'll ask for water and a Mars bar. They stepped back toward the desk as Radcliffe started the morning handover in his head without ever calling it a briefing. Jennings, interview done, CPS authorized charge, court tomorrow. Doyle, answered bail, refused, court tomorrow. Khan, public order, still aggressive, brief delayed. He lifted a sheet, tone flattening. Cell 8, no access without me. Hart's mouth twitched. He didn't look at Miles when he said, casual as a stray thought, counter-terror nicked someone last night. Big name. Don't gawp. Miles didn't intend to, but he felt it anyway. The way the corridor seemed to tilt around a door he couldn't see. A gravity. He dragged his eyes back to the immediate. Patel handing out foil sandwiches, Price swapping out a dead battery on a door panel. Hart chewing gum like it kept his heart beating. Behind them, the chorus rolled again. Tank roaring, Daz answering, the wing banging time. Enough! Radcliffe barked. The sound cut clean. Even the drunk, slurring Sweet Caroline shut up for a heartbeat. Radcliffe's gaze pinned the doors like nails. Keep it down and you'll get fed, watered, seen. Keep it up and you'll get silence. For a blessed moment, the Sweet obeyed. Then Tank thumped his door once, just once, for the last word. Hart sighed through his nose. Every church has its choir. Miles almost smiled. Almost. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He didn't look this time. Right, Hart said, jerking his chin toward the corridor. We'll do a lap. Then you get to write your first pocket notebook entry that ain't don't cry at work. They set off, the noise settling into a background throb, the stink of bleach and sweat and stale beer sticking to the back of the throat. Somewhere, a printer jammed and wailed. Somewhere else, a kettle clicked off and no one claimed the tea. Normal. For here, anyway. And for now it held.